Welcome to the Level 1 Lounge, where we give our uneducated takes on everything and anything gaming related. Grab your controllers, grab your snacks, grab a drink, and grab a seat, because we got a lot of news to get into tonight. But before we do, first I'm going to introduce you to my two regular co-hosts. First off, I am Rider Pride 639. With me tonight is also Agent Maverick 86, as well as the
Hey guys.
one, the only, the second Irish Bandit. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
Tough loss for the Canadians, but other than that, doing pretty good.
Yeah? No,
I'm
I
do-
mean,
doing. I'm doing okay considering the weekend I had, but
yeah. No, we've all yeah, that was something. That was for that's for sure. At least
mhm.
some good stuff came out of it though. So
Yes, exactly.
yeah, exactly. All right. But before we get into the main articles of tonight's topics of conversation, we always have our burning question. And this week's burning question is, what media adaptation, either books, movies, TV, etc., would you like to see turned into a video game? So Irish Band, let's start with you.
Okay, well, I'm probably going to be cheating just a little bit with this one
No, not
because
allowed.
oh, damn it. Because technically, yes, this franchise has had two games, a Nintendo game and a PC game, come out in the late 80s, early 90s. But with advancements in technology that we've had and the rise of games like Dead by Daylight, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I want to see an asymmetrical Nightmare on Elm Street video game where you are one of the Elm Street kids, be it Nancy Thompson, Kristen Parker, Alice Johnson. Um, you have so many characters to pick from, and you're in the dream realm and you're running from Freddy Krueger, or you can play Freddy Krueger as well. Like yes, you can do that in Dead by Daylight, but I want a full-on game with Freddy in it, where you're either trying to escape the nightmare or you're Freddy trying to mow down the Elm Street kids. I think that would be a blast for someone myself who loves Dead by Daylight and plays it on his Twitch channel. Um, I think that would be fantastic. Or another one that I could think of right off the top of my head as well. There was a show that I loved watching back in 2005 called Jericho. Great premise behind it. Turn that into a video game as well. They did a comic book series. Why not do a video game franchise and continue the story with that as well? But mainly Nightmare on Elm Street would be my answer.
That's a good answer. I like that one. Agent Maverick, how about you? What kind of media adaptation do you want to see turned into a game?
Okay, so first of all, everybody I know is going to be like, he's going to say Superman. That's the easy answer. I've been saying it for a while. I want a Superman game. All of that, I've given up on that. So, as you guys have known, I've kind of veered away from my Facebook page and I've actually started reading a little bit more. And there was a book series that I read, and I told Ryder, "You've got to read this series. You've got to read this series."
Yeah, and if
And
you look close enough, you can actually see it right over here.
I've told I tell everybody they need to read this series, and that is Red Rising. Um, so this series, if anybody's not familiar with it, it's basically about a guy who's at the bottom of the. I'm going to try to be very, very brief. The bottom of the totem pole within society. Something happens where he's separated from his wife. I don't want to give anything away, and he ends up working his way through a hierarchy to overthrow society. And all of these planets terraformed. Mars is terraformed. Venus is terraformed. The moon is terraformed. Just to name a few things. And he's making his way up to basically overthrow and destroy society as a whole, to basically level the playing field and free everybody. I think this would be, and it's basically a space opera. We're going to have some space operas in the next little while. The Expanse is going to be coming out. This is completely different. It is a visceral, bloody world that is just fantastic. I'm going to revisit it as soon as I can. One of the first paragraphs in the book is when they hang people, sometimes you gotta grab their feet. They let the loved ones do it. And it's to basically say you gotta pull their feet down to break their necks. and that's the way that the book starts, and it just blows up from there. And I would love to see some kind of adaptation as a game, even a TV or movie series or something. I want people to love it as much as I do. So that is my answer. I want a Red Rising game or television series, but I will definitely settle for. I would definitely love a game for sure to play as Darrow or people call him Reaper.
Yeah.
Absolutely, sign me up.
Thinking about it again, especially in a universe like that, who would actually make that a fun game to play? Sandfall Interactive.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Mhm.
I think Bethesda would do really well with that too. Actually, would be another big developer
Yeah,
that I think would do
especially
well with it
considering
too.
how many notable characters are in the series alone. Yeah, Bethesda would definitely excel at that. Considering obviously you take a look at their Elder Scrolls games where you could literally talk to everybody.
Yeah, the budget for that would have to be massive. Like even the
Oh, big
television
time.
series that
Yeah,
they were talking about, Pierce Brown, the author, is actually working on trying to get it off the ground. He's just trying to get the rights out to somebody. The problem is the cost. The cost that they're looking at for that television series is he doesn't want anybody to spend under $1 billion for the television show. You need to for that series. You absolutely have to. The first book, I will say, kind of reads like Hunger Games. It's it's a little like it's a great out the gate, but it reads like Hunger Games for the first book, and then books 3 and 2, 3, and so on are a space opera. And there is still one of the bloodiest scenes I have ever read in a book in Dark Age. I still can't get over that. So I mean, I I really really even I've talked about it on my channel. I highly recommend anybody picking it up to read it. I mean, for guys, it's a must read. But for us talking about video games, I would love to see it as a game.
excellent. And as for me, going on the theme of books as well, I already know that there is a TV series coming out later on for this particular book. This one's gained a lot of popularity really, really quickly. To see it turned into a video game wouldn't be too hard because the book itself reads like a video game, and that's Dungeon Crawler Carl. I believe I've had this one recommended a couple of times by a couple of
I
different
think
people.
I
Yeah, you
recommended it.
recommended it. Some of my wife's book talk friends also recommended it as well. They figured I would like something like that because I love video games. But yeah, Dungeon Crawler Carl is. I've finished the first book. I'm on to the second book now, and yeah, the book literally reads like you're playing a video game. It's absolutely hilarious, especially when you consider the fact that Carl's sidekick is his girlfriend's cat named Princess Donut. And like even just reading the brief synopsis on the back of the book where you're talking about a guy running around in boxer shorts with a talking cat that throws magic missiles fighting drug dealing llamas is like I said, it's one of those things. You look at the book, you're like, what the heck is going on in here? And then you read the book and you'll understand why. But it so far it's fantastically written. Like I said, it reads like an RPG basically. The character interactions are super super funny. And it's basically the premise of the game, or sorry, not the premise of the game, but the premise of the book is basically it's basically the aliens invade the Earth and turn the Earth into Running Man is what it turns into. And if you remember that original movie, I don't know if anybody's seen the newest one,
Yeah,
but I'm talking about like the old one with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Richard Dawson.
And just Ventura.
Yeah, and Jesse Ventura. Yeah, I forgot he was in it too. But yeah, that's kind of how this book plays out, but on a much more grandiose scale. So I would love to see something like that get turned into a video game. Whether or not you actually just become another one of the dungeon crawlers where you have a chance to meet Carl, or if you are Carl, or if they basically just offshoot it and it's a completely different time in the universe or something like that. But that's what I would love to see.
You said drug dealing llamas, and all I could hear was But Carl, I don't want to change my name to Heisenberg.
So sorry, my internet dropped out there for a second. I mean that would be interesting to be like an MMO. Do it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, where you can have like multiple players kind of doing the dungeon crawl, as it were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
That'd be
that's
fun.
that'd probably be the style that would probably suit it the best. In order to give multiple players a chance to kind of interact with each other, that sort of thing. Yeah, it would definitely. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously there's PvP in the book, so there would have to be PvP in the game, but that's for other developers to decide.
Yep.
So, with that being said, we can go ahead and drop into level 1. Speaking of developers, our first unfortunate bad news article of the day is Build a Rocket Boy Studios, which was the studio that actually was behind the worst reviewed game of 2025 called Mind's Eye. They have unfortunately suffered another round of layoffs. While they haven't actually acknowledged any layoffs at the studio, which would have taken place, just days after the launch of Mind's Eye's first DLC. New report claims that 170 developers have been affected by redundancies this week. So, guys, we're back on the we're back on the layoff train again. It's just a vicious circle. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just a cycle that just keeps going around and around. So, Mav, we'll start with you on this one. Your thoughts.
So this game, okay, I want to put it out there. Everybody knows I pre-order everything, right? Like I've pre-order. Ooh, this game looks interesting. Oh, this was not a great buy. This game looked so bad after I pre-ordered it and I just before it was released and I noticed how bad it was looking. I was like, this looks rough. I canceled my pre-order for this game. That's how
decision.
That is how bad it was looking. Where I was like, "Ooh, this is not going to be good. I need to cancel this right now." And I canceled my pre-order. Best decision I made. That game was a hard flop. Um, I'm not saying that developers need to lose their jobs by any means.
Right.
But when you put out a game this bad, there needs to be repercussions. There needs to be something that's going on. And I'm not saying it's the developers' fault, like the people that were laid off. They're doing what they're told. They're rushing games. That's why we say, hey, let these games cook, right?
Yeah.
Like we're advocates for that. They didn't. And I mean, this game was still it was a linear game, which I've gotten to the point where I'm starting to fatigue of open world game, which is one of the reasons why I find Saros so like Saros isn't really necessarily isn't open world. You have a level. I'm enjoying that aspect of things where it's more linear than anything, and I kind of need a refresher before I get into more open world games. So that being said, um, this game could have benefited from an open world game and being open world and having that. I don't think they had the time for that kind of development. They didn't have the funds for it. And when you're having those kinds of issues, you shouldn't be putting out a game. And you should be spending more time on it. And in this case, I'm sorry to say, but I mean, if they did better with this game, we'd be sitting here going, "Hey, I can't wait for Mind's Eye 2," instead of, "Oh yeah, Mind's Eye was the game last year."
Easily forgettable, basically.
Easily.
Yeah. Irish Bandit, any thoughts on this one?
It reiterating what Mav said, it sucks that people have lost their jobs. You don't want to see it, but with the spectacular failure of Mind's Eye, it's also not shocking either. But if Mind's Eye would have been better, it would be a different story, like we've been saying. But
yeah, I mean, we've seen successful games happen too, where this game is really, really good. Wait, what do you mean the development studios?
Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah. So I mean, it happens, but I mean, yeah, this is definitely one of those things where it happens more often than not, where a game does very, very terribly, And there's usually going to be, much like Matt said, there's going to be repercussions for it. Well, that's pretty much because, again, it's not the developer's fault, but a lot of these development studios, the development companies, the publishers, and things like that, they're all beholden to the shareholders. And when the shareholders say we're losing money, do something about it. The only thing that's going to happen in cases like that is that heads are going to roll, unfortunately. So, hopefully, developers will land on their feet, elsewhere. Hopefully, they join Sunfall Studios to make Red Rising, and we'll kind of go from there.
And Expedition 34.
Yeah. Well, no, 34 happened before 33, so that one wasn't successful.
No,
We already know that.
Screw your Expedition 34. Any fans out there, we want Expedition 60.
Expedition 69.
No. Expedition 60. If you read the records, they just basically like brute force. They said nope, we're not going with any armor, we're not going with any gear, and they just worked out and they went completely naked and
Oh,
ripped,
boy.
and they swam the whole way there. That's how they got there.
Oh,
They
jeez.
just swam.
I don't remember seeing
and they
that
were
expedition journal.
They were completely naked the whole time. So
God.
no, we want Expedition 60.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, man. But in any case, let's go ahead and move on to the next article to discuss. This concerns Valve and the new Steam machine, which has yet to be released. But the reason why it hasn't been released yet is because of memory costs and availability concerns. As we all know, RAM is exorbitantly priced right now. Solid state hard drives are exorbitantly priced. So things are really kind of at a bit of a standstill for new consoles. The company first announced this particular kind of PC console hybrid back late last year, but they haven't really nailed down a specific date or a price yet. While the details are a little bit of a mystery for now, they have commented on the long period of silence following the reveal of the Steam machine, telling the fans that this isn't really what the manufacturer wanted either. That being said, they did come out and release the Steam controller, which is now available on sale for, I think it's like $149 Canadian, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
And it sold out.
It's not surprising.
Yeah, I would say not surprising. It's basically, from what I saw from the Steam controller, it basically looks like an inverted PS5 controller. So you have your controls at the top, and instead of the little mouse pad thing kind of being in the middle, it's down underneath the sticks, so you can get it to get to it with your thumbs. But anyways, talking about the Steam machine, Irish Bandit Rob, let's start with you on this one.
I think it's a good thing that they're going to take their time with this to release it. It'll keep the costs down, which is something we've been, as gamers, have been complaining about. High cost of consoles, high cost of RAM, things like that. So anything to keep costs low and keep this as inexpensive, but it's going to be up there. Like I'm expecting it's going to be like around $500 range, if not more. But
yeah,
when you're
probably
dealing
close to
with
the $1,000 range.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's not keeping costs down at all, because I was thinking it wasn't going to be near where a PS5 or an Xbox Series S is going to be. But if it's going to be up there, then
yeah, I'll be in line
then
with
that
it,
sucks. And I retract my statement. Moving on.
Well, I mean, the part you have to consider too is like this thing needs to be able to play games, and like even if RAM and solid state hard drive costs were to come down, the part that's still going to eat the biggest part of the budget on that machine is going to be the graphics, because you need a good graphics chip. And if you take a look at graphics card prices nowadays, like graphics card prices are about 75% the cost of a CPU of a brand new desktop. So yeah, so even if they if they can keep the cost down in two spots, but that third spot is still gonna inflate the price by 75%, it's still going to be incredibly difficult to not have it be cost prohibitive to a lot of players to get into it.
Right.
Matt, what about you?
Agreed. Well, I mean, considering the state of what's going on in Iran and everything too, this shouldn't be a shock. I mean, that's driving costs up for everything, right? I mean, even like I'm gonna get off the gaming aspect of things, like talking about groceries. Like, I moved in with my other half. What was it, 7 or 8 years ago? Probably a little bit longer than that. I budgeted $160 a month for groceries at that point when I first moved in with her. Now we go once a month and it's $500 each.
Yeah, and say
And that's
160.
just,
That's just your dogs.
yeah, like that's, and I mean, it's tripled since then. And I mean, that's the state of the world, unfortunately, that we're living in. And when it comes to gaming on top of it, it's gaming is a luxury and not everyone's going to be able to afford it. And that's the thing. And I'm not shocked that Valve is making the decision to hold off on releasing it with the cost of everything on top of it. They have they're the ones that are more in line with the temperature of the room when it comes to gamers. And that's the one thing that I really appreciate about Valve. However, that being said, we all know that the next systems for PlayStation 6 and Xbox Series, whatever, is going to be they're likely still coming out next year. I've been hearing that they're not actually delaying, that we're probably going to be seeing new consoles next year. We're looking at $1,200 at least, probably per system next year for that. And that being said, as much as I would like, oh man, get a game on Steam and to be able to play these games, that would be awesome. Thing is, Xbox is talking about integrating with Steam already. So
Right.
when I get my Xbox next year, I'm already going to have access. Why would I spend $1,000 on it now? Like, I mean, PC gamers. I realize this is a PC. There's a difference between what Xbox will be releasing and what this is. This is essentially a PC. You can do more on it than just gaming. I get all of that, and that's the other thing that's going to end up driving costs too. But I don't see any kind of, even if they decide to wait a little bit longer, I'm still going to say we're going to be looking at, anybody interested, Canadian, probably 1,100-1,200 bucks still anyways. And it's going to be in line, I think, still with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and everything as well. And I mean, everybody's driving up costs. I seen an announcement too before our podcast. Sony is taking a look at increasing the cost of their refurbished PlayStation 5s. They're bringing up the price $100 for their refurbished systems. So that's the state of the world that we're living in right now.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't be shocked. And Valve has always tried to think of the gamer. And I mean, it's going to be a double-edged sword here. I don't know what's going to happen with the economy in the next little while. We really don't. And I unfortunately it's just the way that things are at this point. And until the temperature in the room calms down, we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But I think we still have 2 more years of this crap at least.
Yeah. So I mean,
Mhm.
ultimately, it's gonna boil down. Like people are gonna they're gonna be left with no choice but to vote with their wallets.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we can't really spend our money as as freely as before on these things. So, people are gonna have to make a choice. Do I want a Steam machine? Do I want an Xbox? Do I want a PlayStation? Do I want a Nintendo Switch? And it's going to
Yeah.
be basically one or the other. You're not going to be able to get both. You're not going to be able to get multiple systems. So
But
yeah, I mean,
watch it's watch what happens though with what next year or whenever the systems get announced and get released. There's going to be a massive push for it because there are going to be people that are going to be excited for it. But
yeah,
Oh, for
there's
sure.
also going to be the majority of people that are like, you know what? My PlayStation 5 still plays the games that I want to play. My Xbox Series X, they're like it still plays the games I want to play. I'm not in a rush to go and pick up the next new thing. I can play these consoles for another 2-3 years before I have to, like, there's a game that makes me want to go out and get a new system.
yeah,
And that's going to be what ends up happening again. And because I mean there's so many people that are like, why would I, for the longest time I kept seeing online, I don't need to get a PlayStation 5. Why would I? The games are still coming out on PlayStation 4. I'm not going to get a Series X. Why would I? Still games are still coming out on the PlayStation or the Xbox Series or Xbox One.
yeah,
Like it's there's no incentive to gamers to take a look at getting the next big thing in a lot of cases because they're releasing the games on the current gen systems anyways.
Yeah, and I mean, and you got to also take a look at the hardware specifications over the years too. Like you jump from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2, like there is a very steep climb in terms of what the hardware specs have. Then you get to the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and all of a sudden that incline isn't quite so steep. 3 to 4, it gets a little less steep. PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5 is almost a flat line. Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah.
yes, the PlayStation 5 is a stronger console just by the numbers, but you take a look at the quality of games between 4 and 5 and how well they play, there's really not that much difference visually between the two consoles in terms of graphics and gameplay. Final Fantasy VII Remake looked a little bit better on the PlayStation 5. That's it. That's the only difference between the two.
But then you're talking about the games that are coming out later.
Yeah.
Like Final,
Like
you
eventually,
brought up, yeah, it gets to the point with like Final Fantasy VII, Rebirth. The PlayStation 4 didn't have the engine for it.
yeah.
Right. But
So eventually
that's
there's
the
going to
thing,
be
like,
a gaming plateau where,
yeah.
or a cutoff, so to speak, where, yeah,
Right.
new games are only going to release on the new console. And yeah, the companies are going to force your hand as they are expected to do because they're a company. They want to make money. They don't want you, hanging on to all this old hardware. They want you to buy the new stuff. So,
Yeah.
obviously, yeah, there is going to be that cutoff line where, yeah, you're going to have to buy new games, or sorry, you're going to have to buy new consoles in order to play the new games. But that's also one of the things I really love about the Nintendo Switch 2 is that, like a lot of Nintendo Switch 1 users, I can play with them because they aren't forced to get into the Nintendo Switch 2 because there's not a lot of Nintendo Switch 2 exclusives yet. So
Well,
I gotta put that out there.
I still get a kick out of it though too, like to bring this up, Assassin's Creed, Black Flag, Resync. They're like, oh, it's leaving people behind because there's no plans for the Switch 2 and the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. It's like, are we really still talking about the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One? And the original game came out on the original PlayStation. Why would they re-release a remastered version on the original console that came out on? It's just some reactions like that kind of make me laugh.
Yeah,
But I mean,
same
like,
thing with the new Call of Duty 4 talks too. With Modern Warfare 4 rather. They have no plans on releasing them on PS4 or Xbox One.
And why would they? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
it just baffles me to be like, oh, they're leaving people behind. This is clickbait. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Like,
Get with the
come on,
times.
get over yourself. Yeah.
Yep.
But
which is hilarious at the time because we're also saying, consoles are super expensive, but you got to go buy one.
yeah. But what I'm trying to get at is, if you're enjoying your games on the current gen that you have, then enjoy them on the current gen. Don't feel like you need to race out and pick up a new console. If there's a game like, hey, this game is going to be really good. I know it's not going to be on my PlayStation 5. I know it's not going to be on the Xbox Series X. I got to pick it up on the new console. Maybe that's the time to look at getting it. And I am happy that Xbox is starting to make the changes that we talked about here a little while ago. And I do think that they are going to be pushing for more hardware sales. But when it comes to consoles, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of room left for any more of these consoles to come out. And I think even at some point in time, I'm going to be looking at going, oh, I got to get a PC. And I'll be joining you guys on PC, and that's what it's going to come down to. And I will tell you that will probably happen within the next 10 years. That will happen within the next 10 years. I'll be like, I got to get a PC.
Yeah, and who knows what the video game landscape's going to look like in 10 years too. So
Exactly.
yeah, there's still a lot of unknowns to look into, but in any case, let's go ahead and let's move on to the next article. All right, so we have a new report that's indicating that GameStop is actually making some preparations to make an offer to buy eBay. And if they are successful, it would be a particularly interesting sale because eBay has a considerably higher market value than GameStop does. I mean, they've had a bit of a tumultuous experience over the last decade or so. Their stocks have been constantly rising and falling, probably since about 2021. They had a really, really short squeeze, kind of like in the meme stock era, where the share value at one point reached, I think it was about $483, but that number has since dropped pretty drastically, bouncing around kind of like the $20 to $30 range per stock. But the attempt is apparently being made in an effort to turn GameStop into one of those $100 billion plus juggernauts. With an offer is apparently there's going to be an offer expected to be made no later than the end of May. So I'll kick things off on this one here because this is kind of interesting. I used to shop on eBay a whole lot. To see GameStop wanting to get into it is kind of interesting because I'm kind of wondering how they would implement or what they would implement into eBay that eBay isn't already doing. Because I mean, GameStop deals a lot in collectibles and figurines and video games and consoles and used games and things like that, which you can get on eBay. So what GameStop is planning on doing with this, I'm not 100% certain, but I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. Mav, let's start with you.
First of all, I know I put this up there because I thought it'd be an interesting topic. I don't think this is going to happen. The CEO of GameStop actually had an interview with CNN yesterday, and they're like, "Your company is only worth 55 billion, and you're trying to buy a company that's worth like twice that. So where's the money coming from?" And he goes, "I don't understand your question." And he's like, "Where are you getting the money? Like what like that are you stupid? Like that's the question. Answer the question. What are you, a Republican? Come on now."
Ooh.
Got
Sorry.
him!
Wow, just dodging the questions. I mean, I should have said politicians. Sorry.
I mean that would be true.
But
I mean, politicians in general are pretty much, yeah. Sorry, what was the
yeah.
question?
Have you ever seen a second hearing?
Yeah, so that was the point. Is like he just dodged. Like I mean, it was
Hey guys,
it
look,
was
a distraction.
really bad. Yeah, it was. So I don't actually think that it's going to happen. If it did, I got a feeling that what they're going to do is they're going to use the platform and basically like, hey, you want to sell your stuff? We'll just buy it, and we're going to take it and put it into our stores, and we're going to sell it at our stores. The problem is GameStop. GameStop and even EB Games, they're having an identity crisis right now
Yeah.
because we've talked about it. Everything is digital. I mean, even for me, I've told you guys like life in my house starts at 4 o'clock in the morning. I know it's insane, but my peak gaming time is before work. Like I'll jump on I'll head to the gym. I'll come home, have breakfast, and I'll sit and I'll game for a couple hours, and I'll go to work. Then I'll game a couple more hours after work before I go to bed. And I mean, my peak time is usually between 6 and 9 in the morning, and when I'll do it. So that being said, I'm not going to wait until 10 to go down to the store and pick up my copy, get it installed over my lunch break, and then have only a couple hours at night. I'm going to buy it digitally, install it a week before or a couple days before, and when I get up first thing in the morning, even in the case where like, hey, you know what, I'm not going to go to the gym. I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to sit and I'm going to game for 4 hours first thing in the morning before I go to work. I mean, the game's already preloaded. All you got to do is hit start and start or options. Sorry, old school. hit options and start playing. And I mean, that's just the way that it is. It's easier for me to go digital. And I mean, the downfall is I can't go, "Oh, I got a physical game, I'm going to trade it in." And I realize that I don't actually own my content. But I'm not the only person making these decisions. Everything is digital these days. I mean, people are still baffled that I still buy 4K movies. Like, I pre-ordered Avatar coming out in the next few weeks, the new one. Like when that I'm gonna have that delivered on 4K. I have a special edition. Yeah, I could get that digital, and it's insane to people that I'm still doing that. It's the same thing for games. Why wouldn't I buy it digital? Everything's on streaming services. Everything's on Game Pass. Everything is on a catalog subscription, or you can buy it right on the PlayStation Store or the Switch Store, wherever, the Microsoft Store.
Yeah.
Why would I
All hail the
spend
mighty cloud.
And I mean, gas prices in Canada right or $1.90 a liter. Why would I spend money to drive to the store right now with the cost of fuel the way that it is?
Yeah.
Hell with it. I'll buy it online, have it pre-installed, and play first thing in the morning when I want to play it.
And I don't even have to put on pants.
There you go.
Right. But that being said, they don't have people coming into the store. They need something else to drive people in to keep their doors open. Because the way things are looking, it's really, really grim for anybody that's selling physical games.
Yeah.
I mean, the only like what's going to come down to it's going to be anywhere like maybe that's the point. You know, Amazon, you pre-order get your games on Amazon. You can order them on Best Buy. You can maybe that's their plan. Use eBay to sell brand new games. Just use that platform rather than using just their website. Shut their website down and use it as an e-commerce. eBay featuring GameStop.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. Like, anyways, that's just my take. They need a niche, and this is them grasping at straws. I don't think this is actually going to end up happening.
Yeah. Irish thoughts?
I agree with Maverick. I don't think this is going to happen. I don't see any good coming out of this because GameStop's been a joke lately. But now I'm just sitting here thinking, man, if I want to sell my replica WWE Universal Championship on eBay, I'm going to get like $5 in a taquito for it.
Yeah, and a $2 off coupon on a used game of your choice. Yeah.
There you go. It's like that old joke you hear online. Oh, I brought like 55 games into GameStop and got $3 for them all.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's going
that's-
to happen. I'd be very surprised if it does.
Yeah, I think the offer does come. I don't think the sale comes. I think the offer is pretty much as far as it goes, and chances are pretty good that whatever the CEO of GameStop is offering, the CEO of eBay goes click.
I was just going to say that the offer is going to come, and the counter offer is going to be a big LOL on the paper.
Yeah.
I wish WB did that. Anyways, sorry, that's another subject.
Speaking of media
You're
adaptations,
about that one.
Yeah.
Turn that into a video game.
Yeah.
Yeah, buy a massive conglomerate. Go.
Hey, your
well,
next
I'm sure
game,
it'll happen.
Hostile Takeover.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, technically, there's like the tycoon games, which you can kind of do that, but anyways, that's a whole other topic of discussion. Going into the world of video games, however, our next topic surrounds Capcom, and we finally got we have a teaser for a release date for the upcoming game Onimusha: Way of the Sword. The game that we first saw at the Game Awards back in 2024. It's the first mainline entry in Capcom's samurai-based action franchise since Onimusha: Dawn of Dreams, which was back in 2006. Did that article actually say when the release date was teased?
No, the thing is, they're saying that there's an article that's released that we're finally likely going to get a release date during the Summer Games Fest.
So it's a teaser of a teaser, basically.
Yes,
Announcement of an
because
announcement. Yeah.
It wasn't even really an announcement. It was a hacker found some information behind.
Oh,
the
okay,
scenes.
gotcha.
Yeah, so I should have made that a little bit clearer in the article. But I mean, I thought it was so weird. I remember watching, like, I was talking with Phil Spencer Jr. During the last showcase, and they were showing off Onimusha. Sorry, I'm
Onimusha?
stumbling. Yes, thank you. I don't know why I'm struggling tonight. Maybe it was the few drinks I had before. Anyways,
Maybe.
no, that I'm kidding. But anyways,
No, he's not.
anyways, when they showed the teaser of it, there was no release date. I remember talking to Phil Spencer and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, why haven't they come up with a release date? They've shown all of this stuff. Like, we have all of this gameplay. Where's the release date? This is insane. So the only thing that made logical sense to me was it's going to be at the Summer Games Fest, and I'm like, I don't know about you guys, I'm ready to go live that day. Like,
absolutely.
I'm free,
Same.
free and available. I've cleared my schedule for it. So I mean, hey guys, look at that! We got an announcement. We're doing a live reaction to the Summer Games Fest.
I mean, we have to get co-streaming availability first, but
Right, but that, I mean,
we,
that's
we,
simple
we've
enough
We're
to
talked
do.
about that in the
monetized
past.
anyways. Who cares?
We'll
Yeah.
pirate the thing if we have to. No,
Yeah,
we
we'll
don't
still do it.
condone that.
Yeah, no, we'll still do that. Anyways, so this isn't a shock. I'm hopeful that we're going to get a lot of release dates that are still expected this year as well. And that's this game's one of them. I mean, there's so many more. Like Phantom Blade Zero. Well, Phantom Blade Zero's got a release date of September. I mean, maybe there'll be a demo for that. But I still, I'm still blown away by Capcom this year. The amount of games
I was
that
just
they've
gonna
pulled
say,
out this year, oh my god, and how good they are. Like I played Pragmata, I played Resident Evil 9. I'm skipping Monster Hunter because I just can't get into the series. But this is another one I'm really excited for. Like they're going to have a stellar year. And so far, RE and Pragmata, they're game of the year nominees. Like they really could be.
Yeah.
And they are killing it this year. So I'm very excited for this game. Give it to me. Um, I think I think we're probably well released. So let's. I'm gonna try guessing a release date for it. So we get the announcement and a release date announced next month, and they're usually pretty quick with the turnaround. Usually within 2 months. So that puts us what in August. So I'm gonna say that we're probably looking at an August release date.
Try and get it into the players' hands
yeah,
before GTA 6 comes out.
yeah,
Yeah,
would be the smart
yeah,
play.
absolutely. And I mean, there's still developers that are like, yeah, we don't care. Like Fable's still coming out this year.
Yeah.
They said, you know what? We don't care GTA's coming out. We're still going to release it this year. And which is insane to me. I can't believe they're going to do that, but all right. But
I mean,
you're
there's going to be players like me. I would rather play Fable than Grand Theft Auto, to be perfectly honest with you. So I would do it. So
Fable's on Game Pass. I'll play it on Game Pass day one. But guess what? This is the first time ever I'm going to buy a GTA game. I've never played a GTA. Like I haven't ever completed one. I tried getting into five, and then I played Red Dead Redemption instead. But this is going to be the first time that I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to actually play through it. Um, so I'm excited for it, but I also know that price tag we're looking at minimum of $120 for the base game.
Hmm.
yeah.
But this game, yeah, I'm excited to see the release date. I'm going to guess it's going to be probably August.
Oh, fair enough. Irish, any thoughts on Onimusha?
Um, not really, because it's an announcement of an announcement, and it's
Yeah.
more like a leak than an announcement. But
I
Summer Game
mean,
Fest is coming up pretty quickly.
yeah, true. I was gonna say, us as a video game, we see announcements of announcements all the time. So I mean,
Mm,
we're kind of used to it at this stage. But continue on.
yeah, and it's like Maverick said. Capcom's just been killing it here. I actually made up like an idea for a episode a couple weeks back of is this Capcom's golden age, new golden era, or have they just been silently killing it the whole time?
Yeah,
But I think we're in a new dawn of golden age for Capcom.
hopefully. I'm
RE Requiem, Pragmata. You have a new Mega Man on the horizon, which I
Yeah, but
know
that's not
you
until
folks
next
are still
year.
still salty about that one. But
Yeah, we are a little salty about the release date on that one. I mean, I was excited to see it. When they announced it
2027,
at
what?
the Game Awards. But yeah, 2027. It's like what? It's a 2D platformer. Like, what are we doing? How is it going to take 2 years for something like that to come out? But anyways, that's what, I'm not behind the scenes. I'm not gonna poo poo all over them. And especially if Mega Man turns out to be the Mega Man that we've been waiting for all this time. So I'm still going to be excited to play it when it comes out. I'm just going to have to suck it up and wait until next year to get it. But yeah, no, I'm excited for Onimusha players to get their hands on a new game. I've never played anything from the franchise, so I don't really have much of a dog in that particular fight. But we'll kind of see what happens when that one releases, and hopefully it's good. So moving on to the second to last article here. This particular article created by Christopher McCabe. There was a petition titled "Release The Last of Us Online." And this has already gained a bunch of support from hundreds of users on change.org, with the number of signatures continually rising. So for over 6 years, the petition says that fans desperately have desperately requested updates or a sequel to Factions as either a patch for The Last of Us Part 1 or Part 2, or a live service project to be maintained by a studio separate from Naughty Dog Studios. But they're urging decision makers to fulfill their 2020 promise and release the next chapter of Factions Online. I'm going to go straight to Mab on this one because I know he is
Good call.
he's the big the Last of Us, probably the biggest Last of Us fan out of our
We
entire
can just stay
group.
with Maverick. I've got no dog in this fight. So
So there's actually somebody that's a bigger fan than I am when it comes to The Last of Us. He's been on this podcast before, which is Chewy. I think that he's a little bit of a bigger fan. This is a game that he was really wanting. From my perspective, this is a game that I could leave behind. Sorry, a little bit of play on word with the DLC. Yeah. That being said, I'm not opposed to this game coming out, but I do like the fact that they've held off on this game to focus on other projects. Intergalactic is their next big one. And we've seen a little bit about it, and I'm kind of interested to see how they do, a space opera basically, because it's the first time that they're going to be releasing anything like that. So I'd rather them put their time and effort into that game and cooking that game over a Last of Us multiplayer. You guys can sign all the petitions you want. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to what Naughty Dog wants to do. And if Naughty Dog's like, you know what, we're good. And there's starting to be talks and rumors of potentially there being a Last of Us Part 3. And they're talking about potentially bringing Joel back. So maybe it would have to be a prequel. It would absolutely have to be a prequel.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I'm going to give a little bit of a heads up, there are going to be a lot of people pissed off with season 3. A lot of people pissed, and it's going to be because the whole season is going to be following Abby. Ellie's not going to be in it if at all. Like, if she may show up here and there, but it's going to be Abby's story.
Right.
And I think that's going to piss a lot of people off. The one thing is, if anybody gets pissed off about it, I'm going to say this: go back and watch season 1. Pay very close attention. Go back and play at part 1. Pay very close attention to what Joel says. I'm flat out. He was a giant piece of really. And the thing is, he fully out admitted that he attacked people and he killed people that didn't deserve it. He made decisions that led him to the path that he did. That being said, we can also actually understand Abby's perspective. It took me a long time to get there. So for them to bring it back to doing a part 3 and doing it as maybe potentially doing it as a prequel and showing that side of Joel, I'm good with that. I would rather see that than a multiplayer game. That's my perspective. I would love to see another Uncharted game. I mean, Uncharted was fantastic. And they kind of retired Nathan Drake, but they kind of hinted at his daughter kind of taking over. There's an option there. There is a spin-off with 2 other characters from the series as well. Chloe was one of them. They brought Chloe in for a game and did a spin-off. It was a fantastic game. They could still do stuff like that, and I'd rather see that than a multiplayer. But that's me. I prefer the storyline games, but I realize I realize there's a lot of people out there that multiplayer is all they do. I get it. I understand. But Naughty Dog has always focused on story. This is not going to. And if they canceled it, I'm sorry to say, it probably wasn't great anyways.
Yeah. Irish, any thoughts on that?
No, like I said, I have a dog in this fight, so.
I mean, you don't have a Naughty Dog in this fight? Aha!
Ah, good one.
And I thought my jokes were bad.
Thanks for coming up to the show, folks. We'll never see you again. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I haven't had a chance to play The Last of Us, but I did watch the show. Really, really enjoyed it. But at the same time, I kind of have an idea of already of what was going on. I have watched a lot of content creators play The Last of Us, so yeah, there's going to be some people that are angry. Whether or not it's justified is kind of, you can kind of flip a coin on that one. But yeah, it's to see something like this where people are trying to create a petition to basically try and force a developer to release a game is, I mean, I get it. You're passionate about a particular game or project or something like that. You want to see it come to fruition. Give me Division 3. That this would be one example.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Just give that one time. Yeah.
Or the KOTOR or the Knights of the Old Republic remake, that too. There's
That's your getting paid to the Old Republic.
Yeah, that's true, very true. Yeah, petitions can only go so far. Like you can have 1 billion signatures on that petition. If the developer doesn't want to do it, they're not going to do it.
Exactly.
End of story. So yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, you can have all the signatures you want, but like I said, if the budget isn't there for them to create or continue on a project like this, sorry guys, it's not going to happen. As much as you want to will it into existence, maybe if you can convince another developer studio to pick it up, and if that developer studio can get the IP rights for it, maybe. But that's, yeah, like I said, you'd probably have a better chance trying to throw a rock at the sun.
Yeah, Naughty Dog's never given up the IP for that.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Absolutely not.
So with that being said, we can move on to our last little article that I quickly snuck in here because this particular article literally dropped only a few hours ago as of the recording of this podcast. So typically we record on Wednesdays and the video gets released on Saturdays. So right now it's Wednesday, it's 8:34 p.m. So this article came out at about 5 p.m. Earlier today. And apparently Nintendo had decided to basically shadow drop an announcement for a remake of Star Fox 64. So this comes as a huge shock to a lot of people. There were some kind of rumors circulating that that a Star Fox remake was in the works and was coming, and it looks like that is actually coming to fruition. So Star Fox 64 originally came out in North America back in 1997. And as you can see by the gray hairs that are now appearing on my face, yeah, this is yeah, exactly. This is a game that or a franchise that I enjoyed a lot back in the day. From the SNES version all the way up to N64.
See, these are remakes that should be done.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're talking about a game that was, we're talking about remaking a game. I mean, 1997 was a good year for video games. If you know, you know.
Mm-hmm. If you know, you know.
So having a remake of a game, almost 30 years old, these are things that we want to see. We want to be able to relive a lot of these old classics that, that we grew up on. That unfortunately, I mean, yeah, we can technically still play them through emulators. But it's just not the same type of thing.
Exactly.
Excuse me. So Star Fox 64. I'm really excited to see what comes of this. From what I understand as well, the Star Fox 64 game is basically just going to be the same story with a few additions and a few removals, basically kind of touching up the story to make it make sense. It's going to have a whole new graphics engine. It's going to have a whole new set of gameplay. There's going to be PvP modes. It's going to come out exclusively on Switch 2. And the reason why you're exclusively going with the Switch 2 method is because it's also going to include the Joy-Con mouse support. So you'll actually be able to control the game in your left hand with the main stick, and then you'll be able to use your right hand, or I guess if you flip-flop them if you're left-handed, you'll be able to use the other controller as a mouse. You can actually, point and click and shoot and things like that. So that'll be really neat to see how that gets implemented into the game. And that would definitely make me play it a lot more, because I am terrible at first person shooters when it comes to a controller. I'm not too bad with third person. I'm okay. I'm getting a little bit of practice with Saros, as it were. But yeah, to have mouse support, if you really want to call it that, on Switch 2 for Star Fox 64, I'm really excited about. Irish Panda Rob, let's go to you. What are your thoughts on this this sneaky little announcement?
Well, okay, I'll be totally honest with you. I've never played a Star Fox game, so
No barrel roll.
I know that meme. But the thing is,
I'm not actually frozen. I'm that shocked.
yeah, but you're also frozen too. No,
Yeah.
no. The thing is, I was, scrolling through Twitter earlier, and then content creator I follow sent out a tweet saying, "The F you mean there's a Nintendo Direct happening right now?" I'm like, "There's a Nintendo Direct happening? What? How come we didn't know about this? Why aren't we live with it?"
Yeah, it's because they literally just shadow dropped it. It's like a surprise. Yeah. Here it is. Matt, what about you? I know you're kind of new into the Nintendo verse as of recent times, anyways, when it comes to games. So
I have to complete a game on my Switch too, and I feel so bad about that, to be completely honest. It's just there's so many other really great games that I've been so excited for that I just like, oh, Mario RPG, yeah, this can wait a little bit. I want to get into this other one. I love it, Rob. It's fantastic. Pragmata, like Soros, Diablo 4 expansion. Like there's so many games, and this is one where it's like, yeah, this is going to be probably the first one where I'm like, no, I got to pick it up. I mean, I'm going to say it because Phil Spencer isn't here and he can't ridicule me for it. But I mean, I do have.
He'll do it in the comments.
I did mention that Yoshi's been pre-ordered for my other half. So I mean, that I'm not going to have access to that for a while, anyways. And
come on, he's not here. You can miss for yourself.
Because you know what? I've got Lego Batman coming out in 2 weeks. I have 007 coming out here in the next few weeks too. You know what? Here, honey, play this. I'm going to play my games over here. You just sit on the couch and play this. Sure, I'll order in pizza, whatever you want. Like,
yes,
that's the way it's going to. Like, and I know that this is going to be one of the first ones where it's like, okay, no, I want to dedicate some time to actually play this. I do remember sitting down and playing this game at friends' places. I never got to actually finish it. I got to play with them, but never actually completed the game.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to be able to be one of the new players coming in. And this is what I mean. This is the type of game that should be remade. Yeah. I mean, I feel guilty that I'm so excited for the new Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resync game. I want I want it now too, but I shouldn't. But I do. And it's these like this particular game, there's no reason to feel bad about being excited for it. Assassin's Creed, Black Flag, yeah, I probably shouldn't be so excited. This one, yeah, I'll take it right away.
Yeah, and from what I understand too, the price point is actually going to be really reasonable. It looks like from what I've read from early reports, pricing in Canadian dollars is probably going to be around the $40 mark, which seems to be about the going rate for most remakes. When Pokemon re-released Fire Red and Leaf Green on Switch 2, they were that price as well. They're $40 a piece. And did I spend it on both? Maybe.
Of course you did.
Of course that's a yes.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, chances are pretty good. I'm probably gonna pick up Star Fox Remake on Switch as well. But yeah, like I said, it's a game from my early. I shouldn't say my early childhood. I was kind of pretty much a teenager then. I mean, by '97, yeah, that's 2 years before I graduated. So yeah.
I want to make you guys feel old. I was a kid. I was 11.
Yeah.
You don't need to make me feel old.
Yeah, we're reading these articles about games of the past, and it's like, You mean
But
that
mind
wasn't
you,
that wasn't
I
10 years ago? Oh
just-
no.
I just hit 40, so I'm starting to get up
Oh,
there
welcome
with
to
you
the club.
guys.
Yep, exactly. It just goes downhill from here, my guy. So, anyways, that is gonna do it. That's gonna do it for the articles for us tonight. Thank you all very, very much for tuning in. We're gonna shut everything down. We're gonna put down our controllers. We're gonna say goodnight for the evening. But before we do, we're gonna go around the horn to see where we can find each other on the internet. As always, make sure all of our links will be down below. And if you haven't also done so already, I know we haven't said this in a video in a while. If you haven't done so already, make sure you drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel and with the notification bell on so you don't miss any of our content going forward.
Especially if you've made it this far.
Yes, especially if you made it
If you
this
have,
far.
right on. You get an internet cookie.
And make sure that you do have the notification bell on, because we do live streams from time to time, and Summer Games Fest is going to be coming up very, very soon. So, with that being said, going around the horn, Agent Maverick, where can we find you on the internets?
So, I have mentioned before, I shut down my Facebook page. I mean, we talk about enough games and stuff here too. So, I mean, no point in keeping that running. And haven't really been seeing a ton of movies to really talk about that either. So, shut that down. So, where you can find me, I do very occasionally stream on Twitch. I've actually don't have anything in the pipeline right now. Things with work are going to be a little bit hectic, so it might just be sporadic. Hey, I'm online. But where you can actually find me on a little bit more of a regular basis is, as you see behind me, as I mentioned on the last podcast, I have started collecting books. And that is not my only pastime when it comes to collection to books. I actually do read a fair amount of them. Of course, there's some on my shelf that I have yet to read, a lot of them. But I do like to talk about them on my YouTube channel. So I actually am due to be uploading a video here about my reads for April. I'm actually just finishing off reading a series, the Greenbone Saga. So I'll give you guys my thoughts and opinions on that. One of the five, well, that series, I've read the other two last month, but I read 5 books last month. I'd like to talk about them all. And then I'll kind of talk about what is upcoming for my plans for reading here this upcoming month. So I'll probably put a video for that in the next week or so. But yeah, that's where you can find me right now, is basically right here on YouTube and me talking about the books that I've read.
Excellent. And Irish Bandit, where can we find you?
You can find me over my Twitch channel where I stream every Friday through Monday. You can also find me over on YouTube where I upload all my VODs and I put the occasional video out. I'm going to have another, my 4th Twitch highlight video coming out very, very soon. What else? You can also find me on all major social media outlets: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all the above. And you can also pick up copies of my novel Shade Falling on Amazon and my storybook Moshi's Christmas over on Amazon as well. You can get these through either Kindle e-reader or on paperback.
Excellent. And as for me, you can actually start finding me on Twitch again. I did take a little bit of a break with streaming, but I am back. I'm currently playing through Saros right now. Usually once a week. Yeah, so far, great game. Usually it's about once a week. Every now and then I might throw in some surprise streams throughout the week, but usually Sundays is my main stream day. You can also find me on YouTube where I do various highlights, clips, game reviews, hardware reviews, things of that nature. So you can find me over on YouTube there. Like I said, all of our information, if you want our links, you can find them down below. A bunch of us have a few link trees that you can get to. So if you guys want to follow us on various platforms, that's the easiest way to do so. So with that being said, we are ready to power down the systems. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel down below. For Agent Maverick 86, for the Irish Bandit TV, I am Reddit Pride 639, and we'll see you guys all on the next level. Take care, everyone.
See you guys.
Bye.